Hello everyone. Imagine a single newborn baby being watched over continuously for 15 straight months, moving seamlessly from the delivery room to the home and finally into early childhood without a single gap in care. Today we are going to explore exactly how India builds this 15-month safety net for newborn and child survival. This entire strategy traces an unbroken continuum of care across three distinct programs, engineered to operate as a single impenetrable safety net. The first is facility-based newborn care, providing immediate care at birth and during the first 48 hours, focusing on intensive clinical stabilization, thermal protection, and sepsis management. The second is home-based newborn care, covering the critical first 42 days, focusing on neonatal mortality reduction, early detection of illness, and supporting the mother-newborn pair at home. And the third is home-based care for the young child, covering months 3 through 15, focusing on growth promotion, nutrition, early childhood development, and reducing childhood illness. Let's begin with the facility blueprint, which operates across three tiers of newborn care. Level 1 is the newborn care corner, located in delivery rooms and obstetric operation theaters, and mandatory at all delivery points. With around 20,336 operational units, it is equipped with a radiant warmer, suction, ambu bags in size 0 and 1, and oxygen, and its capabilities include immediate care, resuscitation by NSSK trained staff, warmth, early breastfeeding, and prompt referral. Level 2 is the newborn stabilization unit, located in community health centers and first referral units. With approximately 2,421 units, each a 4 to 6 bedded unit with 2 additional postnatal beds for rooming in, its capabilities include pre-referral stabilization, managing low birth weight babies of 1800 grams or more, phototherapy for high bilirubin levels, and management of newborn sepsis. Level 3 is the special newborn care unit, located in district and sub-district hospitals and medical colleges. With around 844 units, each with a minimum of 12 beds, plus 4 additional beds per 1,000 deliveries beyond 3,000 per year, plus 4 step-down beds. Its capabilities include 24/7 comprehensive secondary care, managing low birth weight babies under 1800 grams and all sick newborns, though without ventilation or major surgery, along with follow-up and immunization services. To decide where each newborn goes within this system, a clear clinical triage process operates at the newborn care corner. All deliveries are screened here, allowing rapid sorting for prioritized management. Babies are classified into 3 categories. The emergency or priority category requires admission to the newborn stabilization unit or special newborn care unit and includes signs like apnea or gasping, respiratory distress with a rate above 70 breaths per minute, along with severe retractions or grunting, hypothermia below 35.4 degrees or hyperthermia above 37.5 degrees, central cyanosis or bleeding requiring transfusion, and shock, indicated by cold periphery, a capillary filling time greater than 3 seconds, or a weak and fast pulse. The observation category is managed at the stabilization unit and includes respiratory distress with a rate between 60 and 70 breaths per minute without grunting, gestation under 34 weeks or weight under 1800 grams, and jaundice requiring phototherapy or stable sepsis. And the non-urgent category requires only further assessment and counseling, with no immediate stabilization needed. For babies who do require intensive care, the special newborn care unit follows a structured protocol from admission to discharge. Triggers for admission include birth weight under 1800 grams or gestation under 34 weeks, a large baby over 4 kilograms, perinatal asphyxia, coma or convulsions, respiratory distress with a rate above 60 breaths per minute or grunting and retractions, severe jaundice, meaning jaundice that appears within 24 hours, stains the palms and soles, or lasts more than 2 weeks, and major malformations, abdominal distension, or diarrhea and dysentery. Within the special newborn care unit environment, babies with improving respiratory distress who no longer need oxygen supplementation or low birth weight babies under 1800 grams who are otherwise stable and thermodynamically and hemodynamically stable are transferred for step-down care focused on weight gain. Discharge from this care requires meeting specific criteria, maintaining temperature without a radiant warmer, accepting breastfeeds well, showing documented weight gain for 3 consecutive days with a total weight above 1.5 kilograms, and having a mother who is fully confident in providing home care. This entire facility-based approach has undergone an important paradigm shift, centered around the mother newborn care unit and its core concept, the zero separation policy. Historically, small and sick babies were isolated in neonatal units for infection control and continuous medical monitoring. But under the mother newborn care unit integration, the mother and newborn are now treated as an inseparable pair, with mothers transitioning from passive observers to active participants and empowered to provide developmentally supportive care directly within the facility. This reflects the understanding that newborns require maternal proximity for thermal regulation, breastfeeding initiation, and psychological bonding. Once a baby leaves the facility, the bridge to the community becomes essential, since universal access to home-based care must complement institutional deliveries to significantly reduce postpartum and neonatal mortality. At the heart of this bridge is the ASHA worker, who provides essential newborn care and prevents complications in remote areas, ensures early detection of preterm and low birth weight newborns, supports families in adopting healthy practices and building confidence, and provides immediate care for non-institutional deliveries, whether home births or deliveries that happen en route to a facility. The home-based newborn care protocol outlines the ASHA's core responsibilities across 3 areas. Clinical monitoring and action includes weighing the newborn and measuring temperature, ensuring warmth and providing skin, cord, and eye care, prompt identification of sepsis or illness enabling referral, and managing high-risk babies, meaning low birth weight or preterm babies, through increased visits and monitoring of weight gain. Education and promotion include supporting exclusive breastfeeding through proper positioning, attachment, and diagnosing problems, promoting hand washing and sanitation, and discouraging unhealthy practices such as early bathing or bottle feeding. And maternal and preventive care includes recognizing postpartum complications in the mother and referring appropriately, counseling the couple on family planning and birth planning and preparedness during pregnancy. All of this care follows a precise 42-day surveillance schedule with built-in incentives. For institutional deliveries, 6 scheduled visits occur on day 3, day 7, day 14, day 21, day 28, and day 42, with a note that mothers who had cesarean sections and return home after 5 to 6 days begin their visits on day 7 instead. For home deliveries, 7 scheduled visits occur, adding an additional visit on day 1, followed by day 3, day 7, day 14, day 21, day 28, and day 42. This entire schedule is supported by a financial architecture built around a 250 rupee base incentive paid on the 45th day, subject to strict compliance, including recording birth weight in the mother and child protection card, verifying immunizations such as BCG, the first dose of oral polio vaccine, hepatitis B, and DPT or pentavalent vaccine, completing birth registration, and confirming that the mother and newborn remain safe until day 42. This incentive is also adjusted for special cases, 500 rupees for twins and 750 rupees for triplets. And if the mother relocates during this period, the incentive is split to 125 rupees per ASHA, with a minimum of 3 visits required from each. Beyond the first 42 days, the program sustains growth through the home-based care for young child expansion, covering months 3 through 15. Launched in 2018 under the National Health Mission and Poshan Abhiyan, this expansion aims to reduce child morbidity and promote early childhood development. It follows 5 structured steps. The first visit occurs at month 3, the second at month 6, the third at month 9, the fourth at month 12, and the fifth and final visit at month 15. As an incentive for completing this schedule, ASHAs receive an additional 250 rupees per child for completing all 5 scheduled home visits. The overall goal of this phase is to transition focus from acute postpartum vulnerabilities toward long-term nutritional and developmental milestones. This phase of care rests on 4 core pillars of intervention. Nutritional counseling involves enforcing exclusive breastfeeding until 6 months of age and guiding the transition to continued breastfeeding combined with adequate complementary feeding thereafter. Growth and development involves early identification of delays in physical growth and cognitive development, along with rigorous tracking using the Mother and Child Protection Card. Illness prevention involves supporting families in the prevention and home management of common childhood illnesses and counseling caregivers to proactively identify health and nutrition problems. And prompt referral involves assisting in the immediate referral of sick children to appropriate health facilities for complication management, while ensuring continuous follow-up care. When we look at how this entire system functions in practice, a single infant is systematically monitored across multiple geographic locations and developmental stages without a single gap in oversight. The cycle begins with facility-based newborn care, covering birth through discharge with clinical stabilization, moves into home-based newborn care, covering days 0 through 42 with essential home visits, and continues into home-based care for the young child, covering months 3 through 15 with developmental tracking before the cycle of oversight continues onward. This system also functions as an ultimate safety net for high-risk bridging, actively bridging the gap for vulnerable infants discharged from facilities into the home. Under extended surveillance, ASHAs receive an additional 50 rupees per month for targeted follow-ups. Low birth weight babies are tracked for 2 full years, and babies discharged from special newborn care units are tracked for 1 full year, ensuring that the most vulnerable infants receive the highest density of overlapping care. To summarize everything we've covered, this 15-month strategy rests on 3 interconnected components. Facility-based newborn care provides tiered infrastructure, spanning the newborn care corner, newborn stabilization unit, and special newborn care unit, guaranteeing scale-appropriate clinical stabilization guided by precise physiological triage, anchored by the zero separation philosophy of the mother newborn care unit. Home-based newborn care, covering the first 42 days, provides incentivized, structured ASHA home visits, ensuring successful handoffs, thermal and sepsis monitoring, and maternal support during the highest risk postpartum window, and home-based care for the young child, covering months 3 through 15, provides long-term community surveillance, ensuring nutritional transitions, cognitive development tracking through the Mother and Child Protection Card, and continuous childhood illness prevention. Together, this forms a decentralized, highly integrated blueprint engineered to ensure that every newborn not only survives their first days but truly thrives through early childhood. Hope you have understood about India's 15-month care continuum for newborn and child survival in terms of facility-based and home-based care. If you found this video useful, please watch and share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.